Hey guys, Mr. T here for another episode of Mobile America. I'm sitting in a Walmart parking lot. I got bored. I didn't really want to go home just yet. So I figured let's do an episode. So this is another episode on our 1800 series. We just talked about the election of 1800 with Hamilton and Burr and Thomas Jefferson and all that good stuff. Well, so quick recap. Thomas Jefferson wins the election of 1800. Aaron Burr, under the then law, became vice president because he got the second most votes, and there was a huge contention. If you want to know the details, go watch that video. Today we're going to be talking about the Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr duel. So the Burr-Hamilton duel, okay? Funny, looking up the research for this, there was actually a guy named Burr-Hamilton. The duel started off out of a long, bitter political rivalry between these two gentlemen, Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr, okay? They had a lot of discontent for each other. Aaron Burr beat Alexander Hamilton's father-in-law in a political race in New York. Then again, with the election of 1800, where Burr is like, I'm going to be president, I'm not going to say anything, and Hamilton's like, you sneaky weasel, and he threw his support behind Jefferson, and that's why Thomas Jefferson became president, and Aaron Burr was just vice president, okay? So a lot of crap happened between these two. Well, in the summer of 1804, the two men are like, okay, let's just finish this. And they decided to duel each other. And when I say duel, I mean with guns, okay? Like both men, do the 10 paces, they turn and they fire, okay? That whole thing, okay? Because at this time, dueling was starting to become more outlawed across the United States. But even in places it was outlawed, the outlawing of it wasn't practiced, and we'll get to that in a second, right? So Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton agree, let's duel. Let's just, code of honor, code of ethics, let's just get this over with, okay? So they picked a spot. Now, here's the thing. Both men are from New York, okay? Or they're residents of New York. They live in New York. That's where their lives were. New York outlawed dueling, right? And the thing is, unlike some of the other states around them, New York prosecuted heavily. So if you were caught dueling, there's a very good chance New York would actually take you to court. The state right next to it, or right across the Hudson River, New Jersey, they outlawed it as well, but they didn't really care. I mean, if you were caught dueling, they're probably going to just give you a slap on the wrist. All right. So Burr and Hamilton, they decide they're going to duel in New York, or in New Jersey, on a shore you could literally see New York from. On the morning of July 11th, 1804. Okay. This is kind of funny how they do this. Okay. They take so many precautions, okay, for plausible deniability. It's kind of funny, okay? So the way it worked was Hamilton and his second, which is like the guy who's supposed to help you fight if anything happens to you. First off, he was a judge. Let's just get that out of the way. The guy who was Alexander Hamilton's second was a judge, okay? Both Hamilton and Burr were also lawyers. So they sail across the Hudson River, okay? Both men in different boats at different times. They sail across the Hudson River. The gentlemen who are bringing the guns brought them over in a lockbox. So this way, later on, if ever questioned, they could technically say, we didn't see the guns. Think about that, okay? Both men get to the spot for around 6:30 to 7, okay? They set up, they draw lots, they do what they need to do to decide who gets to pick where they're firing from, and they finally end up pointing at each other. Here's where things get funny again. Every witness who was there turned around so their backs were facing the gentleman. So if they were brought to testify in a court of law, the witnesses could technically say, we didn't see anyone fire. See how this is funny? Lockbox for guns, so the guys bringing the guns can say, we didn't see any guns. The witnesses are having their backs turned, okay? So again, these guys are doing the most lawyer thing they could, and both men are lawyers. They're trying to give plausible deniability, okay? It's kind of funny. So the thing is, they finally get to the duel, they finally get to pointing each other, and this is where the funniness stops, okay? Alexander Hamilton never planned, or at least he said in letters and things like that from people he was close with, he said he was never planning on actually hitting Aaron Burr, okay? He wanted to do this timely tradition where both men fire into the ground and then they call laughs and go drink or something. So Hamilton fires first, or at least that's what most people think. Again, all the witnesses' backs were turned. He misses Burr and hits the tree branch above him. Burr didn't know Hamilton had planned to miss. So Burr's like, you shot at me. I'm going to shoot you. Aaron Burr, who I'd like to point out is at the time the current vice president of the United States, okay? He ends up pointing his gun at Hamilton, hitting him in the side gut just above his pelvis and end up ricocheting. I think he broke like 3 ribs or something. Hamilton drops to the ground. The bystanders turn around and see Hamilton on the ground. Burr rushes over. Hamilton's second was like, Burr had a look on his face like, oh crap, what did I do? And they rush Hamilton to a nearby doctor's. The very next day, Alexander Hamilton was pronounced dead. Okay. Now the thing is, Aaron Burr wasn't prosecuted, or at least if he was, I didn't hear or I didn't read about it anywhere. He still stayed vice president until the next election. And after the next election, he was no longer vice president. He didn't even try running. But Aaron Burr's political career was pretty much done at this point, okay? I mean, literally for the rest of his life, he actually left the United States for a few years because Alexander Hamilton was ridiculously popular. Aaron Burr was already seen as a little weasel. So after killing Hamilton in this duel, he kind of shot himself in the foot, so to speak. So that's the Hamilton-Burr duel. That's another episode of our 1800 series. Stick around for more. And yeah, as always, stay beautiful, Americans. Peace.